matapos na natin itong medyo nakakaantok na rin. Sorry naman, hindi ko masyado gamay ang farm kasi. Anyway, sige. So, the outline for this topic. So, this is included in your long quiz next week, ha? Sisikapin ko maging madali ang long quiz nyo. Basta be present, yun lang sabi ko. Huwag mag-a-absent sa long quiz. Okay, so we'll be discussing important pharmacological principles related to ocular pharma. Okay, we will be discussing also the pharmacodynamics and kinetics of agents for ocular diseases, okay, medications that we use in common ocular disease, and we'll also identify drugs that can cause ocular side effects. Okay, so to review the basic principles, so clinical pharmacology uses or utilizes drugs to treat, prevent, and diagnose conditions. So remember the classic distinction, so pharmacodynamics, so this is how the drug affects the body or what the drug does to the body. Pharmacokinetics, okay, is how the body affects the drug or what the body does to the drug. Okay, so tandaan yan. So the effect of the drugs on the eye is dependent on specific pharmacokinetic properties, mainly the absorption, the distribution, metabolism, and elimination or excretion. Absorption, okay, so this is the process of uptake of the compound from the site of administration. So sa opta, syempre, the site of administration is usually the sa mata lang naman, diba? So yun, so localized ocular circulation or pwede rin system, entering the systemic circulation. Distribution, so this is the movement or this is the stage when a drug moves from the site of entry to the other organ or areas of the body. So this is the movement from the administration site into the target ocular chambers or tissues. Metabolism, this is when the body transforms the drugs into metabolites, so the enzymatic breakdown within the ocular tissues. And last is elimination or excretion, so it is where the parent drug or a process wherein the parent drug and its metabolites leave the body. So, sa mata, the clearance is via the aqueous humor outflow, whether it will be scleral outflow or through the systemic circulation. Okay, so let's just look at how specific eye structures govern drug behavior. So first is the cornea. So dito ba yung pinaka-outermost structure sa mata natin? So this acts as a primary barrier or the major functional barrier for ocular penetration. So for a drug to cross or penetrate the cornea, the drug should be both hydrophilic and lipophilic. The drug should have both these properties, so hydrophilic and lipophilic properties. Okay, so the cornea kasi, diba, it has a lipophilic epithelial layer, okay, and it has a hydrophilic stromal layer that receives plant-based drug. So yun nga, again, for an effective corneal penetration, the drugs must have both these properties, so it should be hydrophilic and lipophilic. Then since your cornea is also avascular, it permits direct absorption, okay, of drugs without much systemic absorption. Next is conjunctiva and the sclera. So this functions as a major depot of drugs for absorption. So next, iris. So drug response varies depending on the amount of iris pigmentation. So pigmentation matters sa iris. Okay, so heavily pigmented iris or dark pigmented iris, more drug binding. Okay, therefore the onset is lower. Okay, prolonging duration ng drug, but possibly pwedeng lower peak yung concentration niya sa blood. I mean sa target tissue. Lightly colored eyes. So there's less melanin, okay? It has lesser binding, faster onset, but the drug may be cleared sooner. Lens. So again, another barrier for a rapid penetration of drugs from aqueous and vitreous humor. Okay, so the lens acts mainly usually affects the drug by blocking or physical barrier siya and metabolic barrier between the anterior, okay, the front of the eye, and versus the posterior segments of the eye. So drugs in the anterior chamber, so yung mga nasa anterior chamber, di ba, kung if you remember your anatomy, you have the cornea there, iris, ciliary body, di ba? So, the drugs in the anterior chamber have limited penetration to the posterior segment because nakaharang yung lens. So, this is why the topical medications rarely treat mga posterior segment diseases. So, we treat posterior segment diseases via mas direct pa yung approach, like kunyari mga intravitreal injection, etc. We'll be discussing it later. Retina, vitreous. So vitreous serves also as a reservoir for drugs and metabolites, so a temporary storage depot of metabolites. Then retina, it features the blood-retinal barrier that does not allow passive diffusion of drug molecule into the ocular tissue. Okay. So again, ocular pharmacokinetics is how the drugs move through the eye to reach their target tissue. So absorption routes usually through topical eye drops. This is the most common route. Okay, binibigay through topical medication, but only 1 to 7% reaches the intraocular tissue. So there are a lot of factors that can cause there are a lot of factors that affecting this, including the blinking, okay, tear turnover, pwede rin mga minsan lacrimal drainage. So to boost the penetration of a drug, usually we advise the patient to use punctal occlusion. So, ino-occlude natin yung punctal dito para hindi agad mag-drain yung medication. Okay, another method is through periocular. Okay, so this is through subconjunctival or subtenons or retrobulbar. So, in this method, it has a better penetration or mas madidirect namin yung medication sa posterior segment. Intravitreal injection, so yan, intravitreal, so direct injection of the medication through the vitreous chamber. So it has the highest drug levels in the retina or choroid. So pag may mga diseases sa retina, like if you heard about mga age-related macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, we use intravitreal injection to deliver drugs like mga anti-VEGF, pwede rin mga antibiotic drugs, we use that. Systemic can either be oral or IV, so it useful for posterior segment diseases, but it is also limited by the blood ocular barriers. Anyway, after absorption, so the drugs will be distributed to the different parts of the eye. So anterior segment, okay, again, sinabi ko kanina, this includes the cornea, cornea, the anterior chamber, di ba? Then iris, then ciliary body. This is reached by topical medication. Okay, this is why drops are very effective in conditions such as conjunctivitis, keratitis, glaucoma, and uveitis kasi nasa anterior lang sila. But sa posterior, hindi ay epekto yung eye drops. So what we need for posterior segments, ayan, we need intravitreal or periocular injection. Okay, so it is important to remember that the route of the drug administration depends to where the disease is located. So if you encounter conjunctivitis, na syempre, you should give mga topical medication. Pero kung may mga patients na tayo that have deeper involvement sa eye, like yung mga retinopathy, ganyan. So kailangan, ang target natin is the posterior segment. So we don't recommend giving eye drops for that. Okay. So after the drug enters the eye, it undergoes metabolism, okay, and it is eventually eliminated. So So the enzymes in the cornea, aqueous humor, and the retina can break down drugs before they reach their target, reducing their effectiveness. Then for the excretion, most drugs leave the eye through the aqueous humor outflow, okay, going to the trabecular meshwork, then into the Schlemm's canal and back to the circulation. Other drugs uses another pathway, the uveoscleral pathway. This is an alternative drainage into the suprachoroidal space. Then, a small amount may also be absorbed in the systemic circulation through the conjunctival and episcleral blood vessels. So the drug metabolism and the excretion or elimination affect how long the medication remains active in the eye and how often it needs to be administered. Basahin nyo na lang itong key takeaways natin. Okay? Yun din yan. So what are the factors affecting drug penetration into the ocular tissue? So we have drug concentration and solubility. Okay, so the higher the concentration and the lipid solubility of the drug, this is better penetration of the drug. So di ba sabi ko kanina, the topical medications or the drugs should be hydrophilic and lipophilic. Okay, viscosity. So some of our topical medication has mga additives like methyl cellulose, meron din mga polyvinyl alcohol. This increases drug penetration by increasing the contact time with the cornea and the altering corneal epithelium. Next is lipid solubility. Ayun, nasabi ko na rin pala ito kanina. So, because of the lipid-rich environment of the epithelial cell membranes, the higher lipid solubility of the drug, the more the penetration. Next is surfactants. So, these are preservatives that are incorporated into the medications like benzalkonium and thiomersal. Okay, this increases the permeability of the cell membrane. Okay, I mean they alter the cell membrane. So they reduce the surface tension of the drug. So it increases the drug wetting and corneal contact time. So enhancing the permeability by disrupting the epithelial tight junction. So pag may mga ganito, it improves the absorption also of hydrophobic drugs. So, yung iba kaya dadagdagan nila ng mga preservatives for better penetration. Although, these preservatives in the long run can also irritate the eye. So, may mga patients tayo na prolonged use of mga medications, like yung mga patients na may glaucoma because they are using their medications in a long time talaga. So, yung mga preservatives na medication, nagkakaroon sila ng reaction doon. So, they experience eye redness, tearing, foreign body sensation. So, pH. So, the drugs that we have should have, okay, the solution of the drug should be near or close to the tear pH. Okay? So, more than that, kung mas more than that, or basta mas malayo yung pH nila from the tears, it will cause reflex tearing, okay? So, pag nagkaroon ng reflex tearing, syempre yung blinking din, mas mabilis, there will be an increase in lacrimation. So, the drug is washed out. So, lesser yung absorption. But pag yun nga, normal yung tear pH, I mean the drug is near the pH of the tears, better yung absorption. Same as with the osmolarity. So, dapat, yung osmolarity niya is, dapat at least mga within 290 to 310 milliosmol. So, more than that, or lesser than that, can cause reflex tearing. Okay, then it quickly washes away the drug, therefore, lesser yung penetration of the drug. Molecular weight and size also affects the drug absorption. So, lower the molecular weight, the size, and there is better penetration. Next. Okay, so routes of drug administration. So topical administration, this is the most direct and common, the non-invasive route for treating anterior segment diseases. This is in the form of solutions or suspension. So solution, most common na binibigay because this is easy to administer. Okay, it doesn't have any, or minimal lang yung visual disturbance. Okay, though the contact time is short due to the rapid tear clearance. Suspensions usually are used for mga insoluble drugs, so we have to shake it first before we ensure the exact or accurate dosing. Okay, ointments. So in the form of mga yan, petrolatum or mineral oil-based vehicles that melt pag na-reach na yung cornea or parang nagkaroon sila ng contact with the cornea, nag-melt siya, so parang nag-liquefy din. However, ointments, ang drawback here, kasi the patient usually have, they have blurring of vision for a few minutes after application of ointment sa mata. So they can cause temporary blurred vision. So ointments are ideal for bedtime use. Okay. Lid scrubs, okay, usually in a form of ointment din yan, or pwedeng yung mga bago ngayon in a form of may wipes na ginagamit. Okay, it's usually used to treat may mga lid infections like blepharitis. Okay, so next is gel. Usually gels has high viscosity. Okay, so better yung contact time, better yung drug absorption. Although yun nga, it can also have a temporary blurring of vision, pero mas lesser as compared with the ointment. Okay. So always, okay, when you prescribe any medication, okay, sa patient, yung eye drops natin, always teach your patient the proper administration using the double dot technique. So digital occlusion technique. Okay, so we apply pressure over our nasolacrimal sac. Okay, dito sa may puntal, mag-puntal occlusion tayo. Okay, after installation of the eye drops. Okay. Then also, don't open technique. So, you tell your patient to close their eyes for at least mga 3 minutes. So, why is this important? Okay, this minimizes the systemic absorption through the nasolacrimal duct and maximizes the local ocular uptake. Okay? Next, systemic administration, so via oral, pwedeng IV, IM, subcutaneous injection can be used, but remember that the blood ocular barriers often limit the therapeutic intraocular levels. Okay, ito ang mga ginagawa namin. So, periocular administration. So, we administer through retrobulbar injection. So, as you can see here, retrobulbar sa likod ng globe. Blind shot siya actually. So, you should know the anatomy. Kasi kung hindi, we can accidentally pierce the sclera. Kung nakikita niyo yung first picture there. Diba? It's within the muscle cone. So, yan. So, usually retrobulbar administration, retrobulbar injection, we do this to give anesthetics like parang pag surgery ng cataract extraction. Okay? Or we can also inject steroids. Yeah. So this provides rapid onset of anesthesia and akinesia for anterior segment and mga vitreoretinal surgeries. Okay, so again, I said this is a blind procedure. So the needle is placed near the globe, aiming for the muscle cone, which contains all the vital structures there, such as the optic nerve. So yun na, mga potential risk include inadvertent globe rupture, okay, globe penetration, retrobulbar hemorrhage, and direct injury to the optic nerve. Kasi tingnan nyo, ang haba. Usually parang mga ganito kahaba yung needle. So, pag hindi natin alam kung saan i-inject, pwede natin ma-hit kung ano-anong structure dyan. Okay? Another one is peribulbar injection. This is also a blind technique, and it involves one or more injections around the globe without directly aiming for the muscle cone. So, nasa labas siya as compared ng retrobulbar, siya sa labas. So, this is rather a safer technique. Okay, it provides similar anesthesia and akinesia for mga anterior segment surgeries, but lesser rapid onset, okay, as compared to retrobulbar anesthesia. Okay, this one, intraocular administration. Intra meaning sa loob. This is for targeted therapy in the anterior or posterior segment. So we can give direct intraocular injections, such as intracameral injection. So the drug is injected into the anterior chamber, or intravitreal into the vitreous cavity. So intracameral, it involves directly placing the drug in the anterior chamber. So we do that during cataract surgeries also, intracameral injection for anesthesia. Okay, and yan. Intravitreal, so from the word itself, we directly inject the drug at the vitreous chamber. So we give anti-VEGF, steroids, mga antibiotic through this method. Ayan, ganyan. So actually this one, hindi siya masakit, sabi ng mga patient. So even without a topical anesthesia, tolerable siya. Then, if you notice, di ba, may needle dyan, self-sealing lang yun kasi it's a very, very small needle, mga gauge 25. So once we pull that out, magsasara naman siya immediately. Ayan. Okay. Next, we move to ocular, mga diagnostic drugs that we use in ophthalmology. So this is the very common diagnostics na diagnostic drug na ginagamit. So we use the fluorescein dye. This is a water-soluble dye that glows bright green under the coupled blue light. This is crucial for detecting mga corneal abrasion. Okay, di ba, kung you remember the EB natin before, we also use this to check for mga the tear film, di ba, to diagnose dry eye. We also use it for applanation tonometry and also in fluorescein angiography. So, yan. Another drug, mydriatics and cycloplegic drugs. So, mydriatics dilate the pupil for fundus examination. Okay, cycloplegics paralyzes the ciliary muscles for refraction and uveitis management. Okay? So, mga examples, sympathomimetic, we have the phenylephrine, 2.5. Parasympatholytics, we have atropine, cyclopentoline, and tropicamide. Let's move on. Ocular antihypertensive. Okay, so this drugs, we use it for mga glaucoma cases. Okay, so to lower the intraocular pressure, we target either the production of the aqueous humor or the outflow of the aqueous humor. So number one, prostaglandin analogs, it increases the outflow. So we target the outflow. So take note of the percentage kung how much nila binababa yung IOP. So for prostaglandin analogs, it gives 25 to 30% decrease in the IOP. Side effects, ito mga gusto ng girls. So ang side effect nito is growth ng eyelashes. So sobrang haba ng eyelashes yan. Yung mga patients namin that uses prostaglandin analogs, ang gaganda ng pelikmata nila. So lash growth. And however, pwede rin naman magkaroon ng darkening ng periocular skin. So parang ka rin panda. So iris hyperpigmentation as well. So there's no drug tolerance even with prolonged use. So just take note kung ano yung dinidecrease, kung outflow or production, okay? Yung mga tatanong sa exam, and kung how many or how much yung binabakat nila sa IOP. Beta-adrenergic antagonist. So we have timolol, betaxolol, nebulinolol. What we have here in the Philippines, timolol and betaxolol. Okay, so it decreases naman the production of the aqueous humor and drops 15 to 20% in the intraocular pressure. So, tandaan. Systemic side effects. So, bradycardia, okay? Systemic hypotension, heart block, failure, bronchospasm, diarrhea, amnesia. Okay, and also this drug exhibits tachyphylaxis, meaning tachyphylaxis means there's a fast loss of response to the medication after taking it for a short time. So, hindi siya magiging effective. Okay, so, yan. Tandaan ulit. Decreases the production, okay, and 15 to 20% decrease in the IOP. Adrenergic agonist. So, we have here in the Philippines is brimonidine. Okay, so ito lang yung drug or ocular antihypertensive na ginagamit na may dual yung effect niya. So, decrease aqueous production and also increases the uveoscleral outflow. Okay? So, siya lang yung may dual na effect. So, 20 to 25 decrease in IOP. Side effects, yan, local, dry mouth, blepharitis. Okay, patients with chronic use ng brimonidine can also have conjunctival hyperemia and foreign body sensation. Okay, we don't give this to children because it can cause apnea. Okay, and also contraindicated in patients taking MAO inhibitors. Okay, next is carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. Oral in the form of acetazolamide, then eye drops, brinzolamide or zolamide. Okay? So ito, it reduces also the aqueous production. Topical preparation, 15 to 20% IOP reduction. Yung oral or the systemic, it reduces 40 to 50%. Okay? So, this is the first line, the tablet form, is the first line that we give in acute angle closure attack. Okay? So we give that immediately to lower the IOP. Plus, of course, with the help of the eye drops. Okay? Side effects that we have to watch out, stinging sensation, patients on chronic use ng carbonic anhydrase inhibitors have toxic keratitis, okay, corneal endothelial dysfunction, systemic effect, like there's nausea, okay, vomiting, yan, metabolic acidosis, etc. Pilocarpine, 1 to 4%. It increases outflow facility by stimulating the contraction of the longitudinal ciliary muscle. Okay? 20 to 25 reduction in the IOP. So, ginagawa nito, pilocarpine constricts the pupil, okay? So, hinihila niya yung peripheral iris to open up the angles. Side effects, brow ache, since constricted yung pupil mo, blurring of vision, okay, increases the risk of pupillary block, okay, cataract, uveitis, retinal detachment, pero very rare naman yan. Systemic, yan, pwede rin salivation, nausea, vomiting, bronchospasm, etc. Okay, anti-infective drugs. So, common classes includes, ayan, mga fluoroquinolone. So, read nyo na lang itong mga antibacterial. So, we have mga penicillins, yan. Yan, okay. So, read lang yan. Antivirals, they interfere with the viral replication and multiplication by inhibiting thymidine kinase. Okay, treatment for herpes simplex and herpes zoster. So, meron tayo dito sa Philippines ang acyclovir, na eye gel, in the form of eye gel, and cyclovir in the form of eye drops. Antifungals, okay, it's divided into 4 classes. So we have the polyenes, pyrimidines, azoles, yan, and echinocandins. Okay, so please take note na lang ng mga mode of action. Okay, so for dry eye and ocular surface, okay, the overall goals in the ocular surface disease is for you to give symptomatic relief, diba? So you have to alleviate the irritation that your patient has, the foreign body sensation, okay, eye pain. And also we want to promote tissue repair. Okay, so we want to promote corneal epithelial wound healing and restore the surface integrity. Okay? And also we want to prevent or protect against severe complications like persistent epithelial corneal defects or ulceration, yun yung pinakapangit, or scarring. Okay? So there is a 3-pillar approach when we treat dry eye syndrome. So first is tear supplementation. So that's the first line therapy. We give artificial tears like yung mga lubricants like we have here available in the market, mga sodium hyaluronate, PEG 400, ano ba ba? Carboxymethylcellulose, etc. So they replace missing volume and they replace the missing volume, okay, and also smoothen your ocular surface. Yung sinasabi ng bang patient, moisturizer daw sa mata. So sige, pwede naman. Next is tear conservation. So the strategy here, we retain the natural and artificial tears on the ocular surface longer. So, ang ginagawa dyan, we give ointments or sometimes yun nga, we do punctal occlusion. May mga punctal plugs na nilalagay like that on the picture, yung white. Okay, so, then we also give gels, mga high viscosity ointment or gels at bedtime, okay, para ma-retain yung natural na tears niya. So, hindi mag-evaporate agad. Then the third step is tear stimulation. So we give secretagogues. The strategy here is we want to target the underlying inflammatory cycle and restore the natural tear film quality. So yan, mga secretagogues na available na yung ito, diquafasol. Okay, they boost mucin production. Okay, then we also give immunomodulators like cyclosporine. Okay, yeah. Ito, this is important. I'm not sure if it's there in the slides that you have. Okay, so please study, especially the highlighted ones, yung mga side effects nila. Very common that we encounter in the clinics is ethambutol toxicity. Okay, an anti-TB drug, it causes toxic optic neuropathy. Okay, mga steroids, either oral steroids or eye drops. Okay, so this is an anti-inflammatory. Prolonged use can cause posterior subcapsular cataract, steroid-induced glaucoma. Okay, yan. Ano pa ba? Tamsulosin. This is an alpha-1 antagonist. So, when we do cataract surgery, especially to males, we always ask this if it's taking this kind of drug because it can cause flaccid iris. So, floppy yung iris during the surgery, poor pupillary dilatation. Okay? So, ito, very important. So, aralin niyo siya. Lapit na tayo matapos. Sorry naman, inantok na kayo. So, to wrap up, okay, always reinforce safety principles using the doctor time mnemonic. So dose, route, time, individual, medication, expiration date, effect or education, and proper documentation. So right dose or the right drug, so you should give the exact medication prescribed. The right route, okay, so you have to know the correct way how to give your drug. So it's either oral, IV, topical, etc. So you have to administer the drug via the correct route. Time, give it at the right time always. Check the individual, right patient. Check the patient's identity. Okay, right measurement or right medication. give the correct medication and the right, the right dose also, right? Education of the patient, so you tell the expiration date or what will the drug do to the patient, okay? Or basta you tell everything to your patient before you give the drug. And right documentation, so record it properly. Okay, so the medication administration includes the time, the dose, ano ba? Route, if there are patient reactions, and also if the patient refused to take the medication. Okay, with that, thank you for listening and good day. Meron kayo dito, wala? Wala sa Moodle?